Hi everybody, Patty Ann here. Hang on just a sec. I hope you have a cup of coffee and you can join me today because I think you're going to enjoy this project. We're going to make this simple Valentine today, but you're going to see how you can change it up however you would like to. I have this one pop dotted up so it would pop up a little bit on the card. I'm not sure if you can see that. I have these cut out, and then if you open this up, I have this that was a print and cut, and this is a print and cut. So anyway, join me over on Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to show you how to make this card and actually how to change it so that the card will fit into the envelope that we can get at Staples. Remember these envelopes that I really like? They're called invitation envelopes. I'm not affiliated with Staples. I just love using these envelopes instead of my own card or cardstock or paper. So join me over to Cricut Design Space and let's take a look at what we're going to do and how we can change up this card and just learn or refresh our memory on a bunch of things we can do with Cricut Design Space. Okay, so I'm in Cricut Design Space over here, and I have my other screen over here just temporarily so I can show you what I'm talking about. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to Shapes because I want to get a heart shape. I'm going to go to Heart. All right, now remember what I said about the envelope. The envelope, the width of the envelope cannot be, is not any wider than 4.5 inches. And it actually doesn't even look like it's totally 4.5 inches. No, it's 4 3/8 inches. So I'm going to have to make this heart smaller than that to be able to fit in here. Matter of fact, maybe I'll make it about 4 1/4 inches just to make sure it fits. So, whoops, I don't know why I threw that over there. So I have one heart up here on Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to change its width up here to 4.25. 4.25 and hit enter. Since the lock is locked, it automatically changes the height as well. So this card right here that I'm starting to work on will fit into this envelope right here. All right, now look at this card again. There's a red heart, there's a white heart behind it, and then there's another white heart. So I need a total of 3 of these hearts. So I select it by clicking on it, and I come up here to the right hand column in the duplicate area, and I'll duplicate it once, twice. So now I have a total of 3 hearts for the project, and I'm just going to start working on this one, which is the front, which is the red one. Notice one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, going to slice out a circle here, and I'm going to slice out these hearts. So let's start with the circle. I'll come over here to the shape tool and get a circle, and I think I'll move the circle down here for a second so that I can change the color of this heart. Remember in the past you would come over here to the layers panel to change the color of the heart. Now in Cricut Design Space, the way they've redone it, you just come up here where it says line type and cut. This is going to be a cut file, and I can just change it by clicking on this little swatch here and make it red. And now I'm going to take that circle and bring it up here, maybe make it a little larger. Okay, and now notice I have 2 things here. If I click on the circle, hold down my shift key and click on the heart, notice how many things are chosen over here in the layers panel. If you ever want to use the slice tool, you must have 2 things and only 2 things selected. So that's what I have, and the slice tool will work. So I'll slice, and I'll remove this and the red one. I'm going to click on the black one or the dark one and get rid of it. The red one I'm going to change to the white circle like it is in this Valentine. So again, it's going to cut out. So I come up here to the cut change this to white. It's going to be a little hard to see on the white, so I think, going to change it instead to a gray, light gray, so you can see it more clearly. Okay, so this is what's going to be pop dotted off of the red heart and the white heart. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this text on it, and I'll just go to the full screen now for Cricut Design Space. And in order to put the text on here, I'm going to come over to the text tool, and I'm going to type each one of these words on its own line. And I think I will just use Cricut Sans. And I'm going to put on my caps lock because I liked it all capital letters. Excuse me. Each time I type a word, I hit the enter key. And the reason why I do that is because I want to be, I want to be able to ungroup these to lines in order to curve them. So here they are. And what I could do first if I want to is align them center. And now I'm going to highlight them again. Just them. Did you see when I did that it accidentally grabbed because I must have touched that? I grabbed this too. I don't want that grabbed. So I just grabbed those. And now I'm going to go to advanced. Oh, let me refresh your memory here. I want to curve these. Remember the rule is if you have more than one line of text, the curve tool will not be available. Notice it's not available. So I come over here to advanced, and I can only ungroup to lines if I want to curve. If I ungroup to letters, my curve tool will not work. I can only ungroup to lines. So what that does is makes each one of these lines individual. And then, let's see, I'm going to highlight all of this and make it, whoops, grab that heart again. I don't want that one. I want to highlight all of this and make it much smaller. And then I'm going to make the whole screen bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think that's good. All right. So I'm going to bring this down. I could leave it just like that if I wanted to, but I kind of just want to play around with curving the letters again. And so I'm going to leave the I as it is. I'm going to curve the love. If I click on it and come up here now, since there's just one line of text selected, I can come up here to the curve tool, click on it, and if I push this little dot to the right, it's going to make the letters curve down. I just remember write down, and if you don't remember, just redo it. Just try. Okay, I really kind of like that curve right there. And I'm going to do the same to the U, Y-O-U. Curve it down. Okay, I kind of like how that looks. I'm happy with that. The next thing I might want to do though is click on the I, hold down my shift key, click on the word love, and click on the word you. Notice over here 3 different layers are highlighted. Now I can come up to the align tool, and maybe I want to center them horizontally. So imagine there's a line going down the center of this circle, and I want them centered perfectly on that line. And there they go. Okay, so I can just leave it right like that. Now, one of the nice things about the new redesign of Cricut Design Space is in the past you had to come over here to the right, find this layer, and click the little cut scissors and then change it to whatever you wanted it to be. Now what you can do is you can click on one, hold your shift key, get the second and the third, and you can adjust these all at the same time. And I love that because that saves a lot of time. So rather than it being a cut file, no, I don't want it to be a draw. So it's a cut file. I'm going to change it into a print and cut. So I'm going to come over here to print, and now it's going to be a print and cut. So it's going to cut this out and it's going to print this. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut out the little circles here, or not circles, little hearts. Come up to shapes, click a heart, and make it the size I want it to be. Bring it over. And now I'm simply going to duplicate that one by coming over here to the right hand side where it says duplicate and hit duplicate. And I want that one over here. And I don't want them to be mismatched. I want them to be aligned perfectly. So I'm going to click on one, hold down my shift key and click on the second. Then I'm going to come up to align and say align bottom. Okay, now you remember what I want to do. I want to slice these out of here. So I think maybe I can just grab all this and slice, right? But notice slice is not available down here. And the reason being is there are 3 layers selected. There's the red heart layer. There's this 1 heart layer and the second one. Remember the rule for slicing. Exactly 2 layers have to be selected. So I can click the red layer and I can hold the shift key and choose one of the hearts. So 1 heart is selected and go down here and this. And now you'll notice the slice tool is available. So I can slice that out. Now you're probably wondering what happened to the other heart. When I sliced that, it brought this heart to the top. So if I want to, I can right click on this heart and send it to the back, and there's the other one, and it's still right where we need it. So again, click on the heart, see it over here selected, hold down my shift key, click on the little dark heart. Okay, there's the dark heart selected, roll down here and there's that heart. 2 and only 2 things are selected, so I can slice, can move this out, move this out. Okay, let's stop here for a sec. Okay, so we finished this little thing that's going to pop out, this little round part in here, if I could grab it. And this red heart is done. Now what we need to do is just change one of these hearts to white because it's going to go back there, and I just like to use plain white cardstock. So in order to do that, since it's a cut file, notice up here, of course it will cut out of whatever color I put on my mat, but I'm going to change it to white so I remember to put white on my mat. So those 2 things are done. Now the last thing we're going to do, and let me hide all this. The last thing we're going to do is this part of the heart here, and it's the forever ... XOXO. And let's see, I'm going to go, first I'm going to make this white. And then I'm going to come over to the text tool and I'm going to put forever, oopsie, not in all caps this time. Okay, so I have forever XOXO. And I didn't change the font this time. I could change it to whatever I want. And I think that might be one that's not a Cricut. It's on my system. It's probably on yours too if you have a Windows machine. Lucida calligraphy. I think it's pretty. Okay, so I'll make it smaller. I don't want it quite that big. And that's all I have to do for that. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to flatten it because it's going to be a cut file, a print and cut. And that's that. One thing I did forget to do before is on, let me move this, on this piece right here, I decided to put a score line so I knew where to fold this piece. And then I would also fold the white piece behind it. So to put a score line on this, you go to Shapes, and down here's the score line. The score line's usually kind of hard to see, but notice it comes in with this little X or the rotating button. And I'm going to start it at the top where I want it to start. Come down here and do that. Now, if I just, let me hide this one. If I just went to make it, watch what's going to happen. My score line's going to be on one sheet and my heart on another. So I need to make sure, got to cancel that, that I attach the score line to the heart. It's got to be attached there. And now if I go to make it, it's right where it should be. Okay, right now I'm ready to make it, but I do not want this circle to print out gray and then with this text on it. I want the circle to just be a white circle cut out and then this text printed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do detach and then come up here and click on the circle, and notice now I can change the color to white. Okay, and now I'm going to highlight all of this again and I'm going to flatten it. And now you really can't see that there's a circle back there, but maybe if I bring it over here you can. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to do it just, it's going to cut the circle out after it has printed this on the paper. The same thing with this heart over here. It's going to print this using my printer, right? And then it's going to cut out, let me move this to the front. Then it's going to cut out the heart when I put it into my machine. And it says it's a cut and print, and actually I think they should change this wording to print/cut, because we know it's going to print first and then cut, and this one is going to print and then cut. So I'm going to go to make it, and it's going to print these first, so I'll go continue. And the first thing, number one, it's going to send it to my printer. I choose my printer right here. Whatever printer you have, there's a drop down here. This is the one I use, and everybody always asks what kind of printer I have. It's nothing special. It's an HP OfficeJet. I'm going to say print. So that's going to be printing over there first on the cardstock, and then I'll put it on my mat to cut it, and I'll be back. Okay, while that's printing and cutting over there, or while it's printing, remember I said I was going to show you how to make that little spring in case you've forgotten. The first thing you do is you just put a little daub of glue right here, and this is actually too wide for the project that I have, but just so that you'll be able to see it more clearly, I made it large. So you just put these first at right angles to each other, and you just start weaving them back and forth. So this one goes up like that. Press it. You remember doing this? And that. And we used to make them two different colors sometimes. And just keep going back, you know, taking one and then the other on top of each other. Okay, and when you get up to the top, you can glue this one down first. And then glue this one on top of that. And here's your homemade pop dot. So I could put something on top, put this on a card, put something on top like that, center it. So, and of course this is just paper. So if I had cardstock, it would stay better, and glue it on there. And there you go. Your very own homemade pop dot. Okay, my project is ready to assemble, and it's so easy. And like I said, this is just good practice for you getting used to how do you apply a score line to something? How do you do the slice? How do you resize things? Different things like that. How do you make a card so it'll fit in the envelope? And then there's, of course, the little spring, the little boingy guy. If you don't want to make your own, you can always, you know, use the store-bought stuff that you can get, this foamy sticky stuff. It's sticky on both sides. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this red heart and I'm going to glue it to this. Now you can't see it, but there is a score line here, so I'll know where to fold it. So let's see. I'm going to glue this. Whoops. put glue all over this carefully, not too much. This bottle has a tendency to really let the glue fly. Make sure I get it down there in the tip and around the circle. Looks great. So now I'm just going to take this and place it on top of this one, making sure that the edges line up nicely. Perfect. Okay, and once I've done that, now I can take, and where this fold line is right here, the scoring line, I can fold right on that, because that's what I'm going to glue to this when I'm done. The neck, actually I could probably do that right now. And by the way, there are a couple hearts and things that get cut out right here that you can probably place somewhere. So then the next thing I'm going to do, you know, I scored this right here to fold it. I'm going to put a nice blob of glue. Not so much it's going to blob out all over the place, of course. And I can kind of fold this back down like this. And then but match this up perfectly. Okay, like that. And hold this part in place for a little bit, because that's where my card's going to fold when someone opens it. So you can see so far I have this, and we can open it and there's the saying inside. The other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my homemade pop dot and just stick this on top of there. Might have made it a little too big. You can judge that when you make yours, if you make them. Put him right on there and glue him on, and take this thing and glue it right on top of there. And look how that kind of cool, it sticks out. Actually, I like that better than the pop dots because it really sticks out. All right, so there, that is finished. Other than if I want to open it up in here, like I said, and put a few of these hearts in here to decorate it a little bit more, which I think I will. So again, another thing that you can practice with this, you know, using a different font, changing your little slogan, whatever you have it saying here. And let's see, let's do the final test. Is it going to fit into the Staples envelope? Keep your fingers crossed, y'all. I think I measured it properly. Perfect. Look at that. I could mail that little rascal to somebody, to my Valentine. Say, I love you forever. I love you. It's really cool how that pops up like that. Forever. XOXO. All right, that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and share it. And please subscribe. I'm still trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'd be really excited to get there. And when I do, I'm going to have a drawing for one of those little slicers that Cricut sells. So anyway, thanks you guys. See you again soon. Bye.